raise another issue, and that relates to the opening of Parliament and whether an early election would be called. What would happen if Parliament could just not agree on who should be Speaker?
Yeah, that's the critical thing. The thing that determines whether a Parliament can function or not, at least initially, is the election of a Speaker. And it has happened. It's extremely rare, but it has happened. For example, in Trinidad and Tobago, 2002, you had a circumstance where the election was 18 all. So two major parties, each side got 18. The Governor-General in that case was a former member of a political party who was rather disaffected and somewhat influenced by it, unfortunately. So what happened was that it was quite a controversial case. What happened was that the Governor-General, on the basis of an 18 all, instead of leaving the incumbent in office, which would normally be the case, and you leave the incumbent in office until they meet with Parliament and decide their fate on the floor, dismissed the Prime Minister because he didn't like him, appointed the Leader of the Opposition. The Leader of the Opposition didn't have a majority support in the Parliament either. So Parliament the recall of Parliament was delayed until the last moment possible, which was quite a long time because the election was held in something like October or November. Parliament didn't resume till April. When Parliament did resume, couldn't elect a Speaker because neither side was going to hand over one of their members to be Speaker, because once their 18 went down to 17, then the other side would win all the votes on the floor. So neither side was prepared to have a Speaker. So in those circumstances, in everywhere else in the world, if that happened, an election would be held because the Parliament was unable to function, and that's the primary indicator that that's the case. In Trinidad and Tobago, however, didn't happen. What happened was that the Prime Minister, who'd never been supported by Parliament, because they hadn't even got so far as electing a Speaker, let alone having a vote on confidence, asked the Governor-General to prorogue the Parliament. The Governor-General did. They prorogued it. It didn't come back until August, by which time the Prime Minister had been in government for almost a year without actually having a Parliament, and tried a second time to get a Speaker. Didn't happen then either. At that point, they dissolved and held a new election. Now that is an example of how not to do things, as you can very well imagine. But it does show you there is always this remote possibility that the Parliament will not be able to function because you can't get anyone to agree to be Speaker, and that is the indicator that you need an early election. In terms of more traditional Westminster-style countries, to the best of my knowledge, it's only happened a couple of times in Canada, once in, I think, Newfoundland and once in Prince Edward Island, but again at the end of the 1900s, the end of the 1800s, early 1900s, so a long time ago. It's very rare, and that's largely because the role of Speaker has a very big salary attached to it and many perks, and it is extremely rare to not find someone who is more interested in the position, the power and the perks, and prepared to take the role. And so usually in the Westminster system, you don't find a problem in getting a Speaker.